Sky Squad, we are back in the building. And y'all, we have got to talk about last night's episode of Salt Lake City. Okay, baby, if you are not watching Salt Lake City, I mean, I don't know what to say at this point because to me, this episode right here, okay, is the reason why I started watching Housewives in the first place. It is pure chaos on this show. And I feel like this is what I honestly feel like. I feel like the girls on this show, they just be antagonizing each other just for the joy of it all. You know what I'm saying? Because the stuff they be holding on to is like, you got to be kidding me, right? The things they be fighting about, this is what I want to see. It is, again, I watch these shows now. I try to watch it as a comedy. And if it ain't making me laugh, then I mean, I'm a little upset. You know what I'm saying? So, this episode right here, I'm going to tell y'all right off the top, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10, baby. A 10 out of 10. All right. Everything down from the editing to the fact that this entire episode was an event. Okay. It was Lisa Barlow's Bezos party for Valentine's Day, or her version of like a Galentine's Day party, right? The only men that are there are the men that are serving or the ones that are working, okay? Now, in this episode, a lot of the story is told via flashback, and it's not overly done, but it's done just good enough for you to really get a sense of what is happening. And at this moment, what I love is that they did not rely too much on the Monica and the reality Von Teese of it all, except for some of the ripples of aftermath that it left with each other, right? Just little things here and there. So I love that they didn't just hang on to that. They literally came into this basically saying, this is what I think. Whitney, you have been an instigator these past few seasons. So now we gonna get with you. But Whitney had a surprise for them. Whitney was not backing down either. Okay. Now I felt like she deserved having all the ladies come at her for all the chaos that she has caused over the years. But I mean, the woman was not backing down, and I'm not mad at it. Okay. I ain't mad at it. You know who else wasn't backing down? Angie K. Angie and the scroll, baby. Let me tell you something. When the scroll rolled down, I was like, if you don't get out of my face with this prop, girl, if you don't get out of here with this prop, you definitely, I mean, Heather had it right. That definitely gave planned, schemed, thought about, talked about, plotted, glue. I don't even know where you find scroll paper. Is it down to the Kinkos or the FedEx? I mean, somebody let me know where you find. It's probably on the Etsy. Okay, that's probably where she got it from, the Etsy, because you know every miscellaneous and odd item is on Etsy. Okay, that's what I think. Etsy is a tchotchke heaven, and so I feel like that's probably where you can find scroll papers and scrolls. Okay, so let me read you guys the episode because I mean, can we also get into the editing at the beginning? I mean, the beginning, the way they told the story of how they've gotten to this point, I just felt like that was epic. I felt like Salt Lake City said, listen, we got these sister wives down here that they doing on Hulu. Okay. How in the world I got sucked into that? I don't know, but I blame you, Taria Faison from the What Else Is Going On podcast. That's who I blame for me watching The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives on Hulu. Baby, that thing is a mess. I had no idea about this mom top thing or whatever like that. So I feel like the Salt Lake City producers was like, listen, we got to compete with what's going on down the street. So what we gonna need to do is we gonna need to up the ante on this production. And so they came in guns blazing right out the gate with that like flashback montage of how they sort of talked about. But I feel like Salt Lake City has always kind of done that. That editing has always been that. While Potomac editors are typically, I mean, they go for the gag. I feel like Salt Lake City goes for like it's they both good. They both give you what you need. But I feel like Salt Lake City, that this episode was Emmy worthy. Okay, Emmy worthy for your considerations. Okay, considerations. All right, my Emmys. So let's get into the description. All right, so we're on season 5. We're on episode 1. It's called Costume or Couture. Okay. It says Lisa celebrates Valentine's Day by throwing a Bezos party. Meredith confronts Whitney. Both Angie and Meredith seek apologies. Lisa's friend Bronwyn brings a new level of sophistication, fashion, and a critical eye to the group. Now, for those of you guys who have not yet seen it, I want to take you over to BravoTV.com. And the reason why is because I kind of feel like BravoTV.com basically gives you this entire show and this entire episode in memes. Everything from Heather entering this party wearing this latex dress to the girl Bronwyn being like, girl, that's not Moschino. Anyway, and did you get into Heather saying, like, baby, my weight loss was from Ozempic, okay? Oh, the Ozo, all right? Ozzy, okay? The octane, Leoctane, the Oz of it all. That's how I lost that weight, okay? I ain't mad at it because I feel like if the weight loss is that noticeable, then you probably want to tell us how you did it, especially if you're on the TV, because they're gonna speculate anyway. And even if she didn't do Ozempic, they was gonna swear by God she was on Ozempic anyway. So it's good that she went ahead and said it. So this moment here, baby, this moment here, we're gonna get into the issues definitely, but these are some of the highlights to me. So you have the new cast member Bronwyn, who is dripped in this red Saint Laurent jacket, of which there are only 3. You have seen one on Rihanna, and then you have the other is in some museum. Okay, $15,000. Bronwyn is married to a man she is 39, he is 65, I believe. So he already has some kids. One of his kids is actually 6 months older than her. So I was wondering to myself initially, like, well, how she lived this fabulous life? And then I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. Like, I don't know what he does. I don't know what she does. So I can't say that she don't be bringing in her own money because, listen, she didn't really get into that. She got into more of that she was a homemaker, and a fashionista. So if that's, I mean, the show is called Housewives for a reason. This is who we want to see. This is what I want to know. I want to know people that's running around here in $15,000 heart-shaped fur coats by Saint Laurent, who ain't got a care in the world other than these 16 dogs that she got in her house, the kids, you know what I'm saying? And whether or not somebody is offending her by calling this $15,000 Saint Laurent jacket or coat a costume. Because Brittany, who is a friend to the show that Heather Gay has brought, all right, who is off and on again with some Osmond, you know, Donnie and Marie, nephew, a distant relative, a cousin, uncle, brother, sister, Duke and Duchess, or whatever. Like, I don't know. Something related to the Osbournes, okay? We know that Brittany does not have the eye for fashions, okay? Because like a lot of us, we probably thought that we didn't know where that jacket came from, but I have seen that jacket on Rihanna before. So when they showed it on the screen, I was like, oh, she got references, baby. This woman got references. This woman is about that life. This woman that is at the couture fashion shows. That's what I want to see on the show, baby. I want to see somebody that can, you know what Mary's wearing. Oh, okay. That's what I'm talking about. Mary and Bronwyn immediately hit it off and are bonding over their love of fashion. And overcomes Brittany. Oh, girl, I like your costume. And Brittany's like, costume? This is not a costume. And Mary's like, we don't wear costumes, baby. We wear fashion. And that was the start to Brittany's demise, baby. Because Brittany could not get she could not make up from that moment, right? Because they're looking at her like, girl. And Mary's like, you look like she didn't say it to her face. She said she looked like she was wearing somebody's German Shepherds. And so the Brittany lady is like, well, I'm just, you could tell she's just trying to relate to these women, right? But definitely saying the wrong things. I have seen this happen so many times, but I love it when it does on TV, right? Because Mary's like, trying to explain how she fell in love with the fashions, and she's like, I grew up with brothers and sisters, and it was just like we could never get enough. Brittany misreads that as we grew up poor, okay? And so she says that she's like, well, I had, I grew up, listen, I didn't have a lot of money either. We grew up poor. Mary's like, I didn't say that, okay? I didn't say we were poor, okay? And I'm not even sure why you think that, all right? And the lady's like, well, listen, I mean, that's just how it was. I mean, I'll put some bread in my pocketbook. And Mary has to sit beside the lady on the inside, and she's like, how am I sitting next to Brittany? I don't want her sticking bread in my purse. And she was like, and she had to do it recently because you don't have a purse when you're younger. So I know this happened recently. It's the little moments, I'm telling you, these little moments right here are what make this show so crazy. Mary's reaction to the scroll that Angie breaks out when she confronts Meredith is just like, it's just top tier stuff. Why is Meredith mad at Whitney? Because Whitney is coming out with a bath bomb, okay? She is mad that she is confronting Whitney because Whitney is coming out with a bath bomb, and everybody knows that the bathtub is Meredith's thing. Meredith, you act like we don't all take baths. Well, everybody except Mary, because Mary don't trust the baths, okay? And what is draped down Mary's neck, bust, and stomach? What is this necklace right here, okay? And why do I want one? Anyway, here's Meredith complaining about why she's upset with Brittany. I mean, not Brittany, with Whitney. And she just feels like this is a personal attack on her. Everybody's reacting to the scroll, this is the moment that sets things off on the inside. So we're going to get there in a second. And I'm going to leave it on the screen for a second. So let me tell you what the issues are that we are dealing with. Lisa is upset with Whitney because Whitney went on a podcast and called Lisa the villain of the show, basically. And so Lisa has now she's holding on to that like the girl stole her husband. Angie still wants an apology from Meredith. Now, mind you, Lisa tells Heather and Angie, the girl, her good girlfriend that she brought onto the show with her, she tells Heather and Angie she's mad at Whitney. You will later see Angie go run and tell Whitney that Lisa is mad at her about the podcast. But Lisa don't know that Angie has said it yet. Okay, she gonna find out soon. Next, we'll also learn that Angie is upset with Meredith because Meredith told Monica to sue her for her house. Actually, Angie got a list of grievances with Meredith, okay? And when she confronts her, I mean, it never works out, okay? Then Heather has some residual issues with Whitney as well because they all Meredith, Lisa, and Heather all think that Whitney is a liar. Again, I just think that they wanted to make an issue with Whitney because Whitney has been the instigator most seasons. Okay. So when they get to the party, the first confrontation that happens is Meredith confronting Whitney over the bath bombs. This exchange is it's so ludicrous to me because Whitney is like, girl, I didn't even know you had bath. I mean, who's thinking about these bath bombs? And I started my business with bath products. And Meredith is like, I didn't know that. And Whitney's like, well, you had them in your store. Well, Meredith is like, well, not bath bombs. And she was like, I had. You wouldn't know I had bath bombs because you didn't buy them. A real friend would know I had bath bombs. Is this what we arguing about? So Angie, needing some attention and some screen time because she has prepared this scroll, has said to herself, y'all will not steal my thunder today. Meredith, scooch over, scooch over, Whitney. And so she scooches her over, and then she whips out that scroll of all her grievances with Meredith. And I mean, listen, it is not to be taken seriously. Meredith, of course, has to disengage, and she runs away. So the next confrontation, the major confrontation that we have is, again, Angie confronting Meredith about her telling Monica to sue her for her house or something like that. And Angie's like, that is so rude. I have a daughter. Okay. And Meredith is like, Meredith is just like over it. She's just like, just leave me alone. And you leave me alone. You leave me alone. No, you leave me alone. Okay. And Angie's like, well, you know what? Listen, I don't want to be taking this from a renter. I own my home. I was like, ooh, burn. Because Meredith being a new rental house every season. Now, I don't know why that is. Okay. Maybe they be traveling a lot, throughout the season. But baby, let me tell you something. Angie was ready for her today. Okay. Angie had a lot of time today for Meredith, and she knew it. And I felt like she was enjoying it. Okay. And it's little moments like these with Mary that also make the show what it is, right? Somebody as they're setting out the tables with the steaks, okay? Mary's eating a salad. So the girlfriend that Whitney brings asks Mary, "Are you vegan?" Mary's like, "I try to be." And she's just judging the rest of the girls because they eating these big old slabs of steak, and I like me a steak, okay? So here you see poor new girl Bronwyn trying her hardest to draw a line in the sand so that Angie can leave Meredith alone about this doggone house. But Angie will not let it go. And Heather is getting her ever-loving life. I was Heather this entire episode. Heather spent this entire episode literally snickering and sneezing over there. Okay. So next we have Lisa confronting Whitney about the podcast. But I actually felt Whitney in that moment because what Lisa fails to do is simply say, this is what you said that hurt my feelings. And instead, Whitney's like, well, you're such a narcissist. You think that everything is about you. Boom. Okay. Boom. And, I did feel like if you are going to be that upset with her, you probably do need to be able to accurately explain exactly what statements were made, especially if it was a 2-hour podcast, right? Just play me the clip or tell me what I said, and then tell me what I said isn't true. Okay. But Lisa's like, I don't have time to really get into the nitty gritty. I didn't like what you said. So apologize for the whole podcast, essentially. And I'm like, well, girl, I mean, listen, let's be realistic here. You can't tell me to apologize for something I don't know what I'm apologizing for unless I'm going to give you a fake apology, in which case we can just smooth things over. If she had just simply said, I'm sorry, then, I mean, she never really would have known what she was sorry for. Okay. And chances are at this point in time, it sounds like she just believed whatever she said anyway. So it's like, I ain't really lying. So you are what I said you are. And that's where Lisa says, well, if you want me to be your villain, I will be your villain, B. At one point, Lisa gets so mad, she tosses a glass over her shoulder. And I was thinking to myself, girl, you in white. What are you doing? So, baby, I don't know. I don't know what was going on. The next thing I know, it is literally the gangbang because when Whitney says, I never lied, and Heather Gay starts to laughing, that sets off Meredith, Heather, and Lisa against Whitney about all the things that she has said and done about them. As you guys can see here, they are literally going off like one after the next, after the next, after the next. Pow, 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 pow. And it is getting to the point where at a certain stage, they start talking. Lisa starts talking about, Whitney's healing journey and how Whitney expects everybody to be where she is. And, Whitney's like, well, maybe you should be or whatever like that. But then it turns into, why are you weaponizing my traumas against me? And I'm like, now, ain't that some Uno reverse? They got a problem with you. Now you're going to turn this into a thing where they trying to weaponize your trauma against you. Girl, get out of here with that one. So at this point, Angie K, it comes out because Lisa's like, wait a minute, hold on. Who told you that I had the issue with you? Because I only told two people, Heather and Angie. Which one of y'all said it? Heather's like, it won't me. Angie's like, what? Who said that? Who said something? Well, I said something. I mean, I think I might have said part of what you said. Let me check my scroll, girl, because my memory is not the best these days. You know what I'm saying? I got things to do with Meredith, and I can't remember everything I did against you. And so at that point, Lisa's like, oh, okay, I see you. You don't have my back. You were her. I'm isolated now. I was like, girl, now how you isolated? You you got a whole squadron over here to your side. You got 3 girls to your left. You got 1 girl to your right. I mean, it's literally the whole side of the table against Whitney. So, in my opinion, I did feel like Angie was just trying to smooth things out, but Lisa wasn't trying to hear, because when you fired up, baby. So at this point, Whitney, in the most bad AF, okay, move ever, says, you want to see the healed Whitney? And Lisa's like, yeah. She sticks up that middle finger and she says, F you. Okay. I was like, boom. Okay, that's how you end the argument right there. And you better be prepared to leave, because sure enough, Lisa was like, get out of my party. Get out of here. Get your on here. And Whitney's like, I've been kicked out of better places. Okay, I'm out of here. And Angie K run following up behind her. And Heather's like, hey, what, Angie, where you going? You were supposed to be my girl. Lisa's like, no, that's Whitney's friend now. And Meredith is like, yeah, you misread that one, honey. When I tell you, this was nothing but silly chaos to me. And you could tell, based on the looks on these ladies' faces, that I felt like they enjoyed every minute of it just as much as I enjoyed watching it. I could be wrong, but I felt like they did. So we just gonna roll with that. All right. So listen, if you guys are watching Salt Lake City, definitely chime in. Let these people know in the comment section how good this. I don't even think I did it justice in my recap. I know I didn't do it justice in my recap. It was just that good. I watched it again this morning right before I started this recap. I had to see it again, because not only is an episode like that difficult to recap because it's literally one event and so much is happening, but it felt like, to me, old episodes of Real Housewives of New York City. And I don't know if you guys used to watch that. If you're thinking circa season 7 through 10 of Real Housewives of New York City, that's it right there. This is it. This is that. Okay. On steroids. Because what I love is that it's just so much happening that it's so wild. It's so crazy. And what they're saying is some of it is planned, some of it is reactive, and they're just in it regardless of how silly it is. And I love it. So anyway, y'all let me know what y'all thought about the episode. I loved it. I gave it 10 out of 10. I'm satisfied. I am pleased. And I am ready for episode 2, baby. Too bad I don't get the screeners. I ain't going to be able to do next week because I'm going to be out in the Bali. So with that being said, I will be reviewing this show as much as I can, unless some other breaking news pops off. With that being said, y'all, make sure you'll keep it locked to the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. Hit that like button, smack it up, flip it, rub it down, and I will catch you guys in the next episode.